Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching doing the trade review for Tuesday, the 17th of June. And man, let me tell you, it was quite the interesting day. Um, One of the things I wanted to achieve coming into today was that first of all, I'd been taking numerous trap trades on ES to the downside, and they have in general been failing me. And so my goal was first of all was to eliminate that trade today. And it just so happens that the trap trade worked very well in general. However, um, I'm pretty I'm pretty cutthroat when it comes to getting rid of a trade that's not working. Now, it doesn't mean I'll get rid of a trade and go look for another one. The trade is still on the books. I'll monitor it. I'll keep my statistics on it, and I will work on watching the execution and when I should re-implement it. But from a standpoint of trying to force a trade that's handed me a lot of losses, and that's handed me actually almost close to 100% of my losses over the last almost week now, that it's enough for me to surrender the trade and observe. The next thing was that in the morning, I have been consistently looking for dips in the morning into prior day's low and Globex low. We didn't quite get there this morning, but we got close enough. And what I was keying off of, NQ's actually been quite strong to the upside the last couple of days. And what I was keying off of this morning was I'm going to show you here. We moved just a little bit past it, but our original move down, I'm going to show you right here. We opened up and we moved down. Actually, this chart is incorrect because our Globex low, let me pause this for a second and fix this chart real quick. Here we go. I simply had the wrong chart up. I was like, my gosh, something's wrong with that chart this morning. That's not the trade I took. So this morning, and I actually recorded it live if I can edit it. I'm not going to be able to edit it tonight. I'm simply too tired to get it out. But I am working on getting better at this editing software. But the point is, what I was keying off of was that I had been looking for a move into Globex lows, both from ES and Q. I suspected with the Fed announcement coming up tomorrow afternoon that we would have responsive buyers. And generally speaking, I was looking for a long side trade. I was not looking for the short side. Frankly, I've almost given up on the short side of the trade, having any kind of extension down. We've simply been working this move up. In other words, we've been moving the overbought condition. We've been working that off in a sideways manner. It doesn't mean that we can't break down. It just simply means that the shorts have not paid as well as the longs have, and the longs have simply been the easier trade on both sides. So first move into Globex low occurred right here. I took the move. Actually, I didn't even wait for the trap. It was simply a scalp. I took long, and at the same time, ES came into its support zone. I'm going to show you right here. I'm sure hoping this is making sense because I'm a little bit tired. But what I wanted to cover wasn't even the fact that it came in. So first time into the zone, right? So we rotated down. It was not a huge rotation. So people ask me all the time in the AM, what about the rotation size right out of the gate, first time into the zone? And this is the only way I have to answer it. There are times when the market is getting very directional, and the first move into the zones the zones get busted very quickly, right? There are other times when the market is balancing and or it's not busting those early zones very quickly, and those first zones are very tradable. Right now, the market is such that the first move into the zone is highly tradable. As a matter of fact, the difficulty has been getting the trade into the zone to begin with. Okay, so in today's case, we did get the move down into the zone. Globex low came in prior. Okay, and actually set down at 1923 and 3/4. This was really just prior to the open, and was extremely helpful in terms of, actually it wasn't that close to now that I think about it, it wasn't that close prior to the open. It was actually a good 15 minutes before the open, but it was extremely helpful because what we've been missing is getting Globex low and high to align with a significant structure. These zones represent areas of significant structure within the market, okay, and that's why the reason why they're important. And for the most part, they have not been aligning properly. Today they aligned fantastically, and it's been a couple of weeks since we've been getting both Globex high and Globex low, for lack of a better term, in the right location. Okay, so the first move in, I took the long. Now, what we don't have published in the market preview is the actual trading. I stayed on for trading live after the open. And so what happened was, right at the open, apparently some type of 18-wheeler or truck delivered something to one of my neighbors' homes, and my dog went berserk right at the open, literally right as I entered this trade, and became a huge distraction. I didn't know it was bothering her, but more importantly, it was bothering the hell out of me. So what ended up happening in my particular case is I ended up scaling the majority of this trade very quickly. I only left a few contracts on to run up, and even once I was able to get her squared away and get out, I squared most of this trade away by the time I believe I was up somewhere between 4 and 5 points was the best scale I got on this particular trade. Okay, so that's fine. That's $100 a contract. It's a nice way to start off the day. I was also long CL at the same time, which is crude, and I was not able to pull off my trade in ES long. That being said, I saw the trade set up. I called it in real time. But what was important there is the fact that I had the distraction. Now, by the time I came back, I had unloaded, even this 4 and 5 points, the majority of that trade came off at 2.5 and 3 points because I was being distracted. I really couldn't focus on my size, my execution. I was trying to make sure my stops were in the right place. And I was pissed, okay? If pissed isn't the right word, then upset, distracted might be a key word, right? Now, I know from my own trading that one of the big, and if it wasn't for the fact that several people told me that that was valuable, that I shared this today in the live, when I was trading live with the guys I'm coaching and who are in the live market preview, I wouldn't be recanting it. But here was the deal. After I got this trade and I saw how far it ran, right? This is essentially from 26, eventually it ran all the way up to 36, right? This is a really, really, really nice trade, okay? Essentially, it was a potential of 10. Excuse me, I'm so tired that I'm looking on the wrong chart. On ES, it went from 24, right? Eventually up to 34, right? That's a potential of a 10-point trade that I did not get, and certainly it was worth 8 points, almost in a direct line, right? I did not get ES, so please forgive me on that. I'm just really tired while I'm doing this. So let me go back to my NQ chart really quick, the disadvantages of being ADD. So I entered this trade at 66 and ran up almost all the way to 86. It's 20 points. So here's the deal. In my book, when I get 20 points, especially in the ranges we've been having, that is a home run to me. I was agitated at that point. I'm not going to try to press my trades. At that point, I consider the day having gone south, and the only thing I have to gain is by pushing these trades at this point any further or trying to get trade entry. The odds of me entering the next trade correctly and actually having a profitable trade when I'm agitated are extremely low. Okay, so fine. You might say, well, you should be going back to being mechanical, and you know your edges, and you know what your zones say, and you know what your odds are in your trade. And that's all true, except for one thing. Okay? When you enter a trade, you have to be in the right mindset to let all those odds work in your favor, and I wasn't. And the way that I really knew that I wasn't was that I had measured this move to halfway back. Very simple trade, right? This was halfway back, okay? And I constantly preach to my guys, right, that halfway back is a fantastic trap. In most cases, what happens is most guys enter halfway back. They build stops right behind here. Usually it's 2 points behind. So if you entered at 37.75, or in ES's case, a little bit further. Here, I'm going to show you. Let me pull this trade. And wow, I'm sorry, I'm more tired than I thought I was, so I'm going to actually cut this short tonight. But what I want to show you is this is halfway back. It's a very common trade. Every book you read will talk about halfway back. Okay, so what usually happens is people enter right here, which in this particular case was 1929, right? Where do they run the stops to? They ran it down to 1926.5. Most guys are trading with a 1, maybe a 2-point stop, right? It's just enough to run these guys over, which is exactly what they did. They run them over, then they stop, and they take it the other way. Okay, so while I was trading, I was actually contemplating taking this trade, and I knew that when I wanted to take this trade so badly, what I wanted to happen in the market preview, if you'll look below, what I'd stated was that we were very likely to come in and test this open gap on ES, sitting right here, and then possibly right, testing up into this 42 3/4 to 44 3/4. It may happen tomorrow, right? But that it was very poorly auctioned in between. I knew that we had a good shot. And as a matter of fact, I said in the morning, first time up into this area, I was looking to take a short. Okay. That being said, I knew at this point when I wanted to take this trade halfway back, and additionally, I was agitated because I had said I would not take a trap trade on ES the first time to if we had trapped either on an A grade or a B grade trap, which we did here in Monday's high. And of course, the day I said that I'm not taking the trade worked beautifully to the downside. Okay, so at this point, when I wanted to take the trade here and then I finally waved it off in real time, I knew that I was compromised at that point. There was no point in me doing anything else through the course of the day. Why is that? I just wasn't in a good balanced place. The trade decision that I made here, thanks to my dog and me just getting kind of dislocated because of that event, I was just off, and I went ahead and folded my cards for that day. Now, to some people, they may say, well, you should have been able to get back to zero, but look, here's the deal. The majority of retail traders lose money. They're either break-even, boom-bust traders, or they just flat-out lose, okay? The fact of the matter was things didn't go perfectly for me this morning, and I had a profit. Secondly, my goal was to stop, right, because it's not showing up on my stats. The trap trade in ES is not proving effective. It is an NQ. It's not an ES. Okay. Also, I felt that buyers are and have been in control. They have not relented yet. Maybe they will tomorrow, but they haven't to this point yet. And that I didn't want to fight the upside. And overall, I wanted to focus on the long side. And obviously, that paid very nice dividends. I had clients actually who nailed this, and a few of them even got long in here. I think they got, oh, I know. They got long off the backside test and NQ. I'll show that really fast here. Okay. They took this long as well. Now, I got to say, this long on the second test is the second time in that it worked. It's fantastic that we had a balanced day. Really helped in NQ in this particular case. I think second tests of critical areas are not the best trade. I'm pretty sure someone even probably went ahead and took this too. Okay. The only thing I have to say about taking second tests of zones on balanced days is that watch out for when we go from balance to directional, because those second tests, guys, they'll smoke you. Anyways, point being on that entire deal, look, I was not prepared to take any further trades after I had the little issue with my dog. That's never happened to me in the morning, so if it ever happens again, she will be regulated to being in the back of the house until the trading session's over. It's something I just can't tolerate from her because it distracts me so. But I also took care of myself, which is very important. And this is a key thing that's very important in trading. You've got to be nice to yourself. Look, this little move right here ensured that I had a profit on the day. I wanted a profitable day. I've kind of been struggling with I've been offsetting my NQ trades have accounted for the majority of my profit the last couple of weeks because they've been offsetting my ES trap trades that have been failing. I've had a few nice days in ES that have covered, but net, the month is kind of not fantastic. It's not great. It's not bad, right? NQ month's been actually pretty good. The trades have set up really, really nicely. But what I want to be most importantly to myself in this period of time is nice to myself. Why? Because the market's slow. That's not my best trading environment. I trade when the market trades fast. Not only that, but I can tell you from other traders that I watch and respect that other traders are struggling in this environment. Okay, we're not getting the two-sided action that we normally look for. Okay, anyone who tells you they're absolutely killing it, there's only one group of people that I can tell that are killing it, and that's the guys that are trading the Momo names are doing well if you're in the right Momo name. Okay, but there's a price to pay for that trade as well. Nothing comes free, and one thing I don't do is jump from literally one type of market to another. I trade 4 very specific markets. I'm good at them. Usually one is always working for me. Today I do trade CL quite a bit, and CL worked beautifully in the morning. I was looking long, and I'm not even bothered pulling up the trade. But the fact is, there are different trades that work well for me from market to market, and I'll tend to rotate to those as they come in and out. But what I don't do is I don't abandon the trade completely. I know which trades have a high odds setup. Right now the trap trade isn't to the short side on ES isn't working so hot, but I can give you a whole long period of time where that trap trade on ES with a range, when our range is greater than 15 points, that trade is fantastic and pays extremely nicely. So anyways, I'm sorry I was a bit tired. I've probably rambled on a bit more than I normally have. I think the ideas that I want to leave people with is this. Okay, first of all, tomorrow's Fed day. I generally have a rule that I took off on Fed days prior to coaching, actually. Even when I ran my hedge fund, I pretty much shut it down on Fed days, and I think I'm going to follow that same idea after the first hour or two tomorrow morning. I will not trade the Fed release. Simply not worth it for me. I'll let someone else deal with it, whether it's a great, fantastic, huge volatility or not. My edge is diminished in the Fed when the Fed releases, and so I'm going to skip that day. Additionally, the other takeaway, be nice to yourself, right? Some days, having one profitable trade to start the day off, especially if you've been struggling a little bit, which my trades have been struggling a little bit, particularly in the ES last couple of days, there's nothing wrong with taking that and putting it in your back pocket and coming back the next day and trying to build on that concept. The last piece I want to deal with is this. Recognize when you're on tilt and be nice. If there's even a slight chance that you're on tilt, right, go with the odds that you're going to have another better trading opportunity than the one you're trying to force right now, right? Had I taken that second trade today that I wanted to take after the frustration built from between my dog, the trap trade after I declared publicly, and actually in my trade plan that I wasn't taking it, actually worked beautifully this morning, right? It would have actually provided a beautiful roll down for almost 4 or 5 points trade-wise, okay? And then had I taken that trade, it would have ended up being a loser. That's exactly how you go from putting money in your pocket to end up being a break-even trader. And it can be extremely frustrating. So build one at a time. And then the last piece I want to leave for the guys that were in the room, right? Build your stats on each trade individually and know which trades you're taking and why you're taking it. Anyways, I'm very tired. I've spent the afternoon in doctor's offices with my daughter. Luckily, it turns out she's fine. Nothing's significantly wrong there that a little medicine won't take care of. And I think what will take care of me is a good night's sleep. So I'm going to grab that. Everyone have a good night. I'm dedicated to helping the people that are following me become strong, profitable, consistent traders, to getting through markets that are difficult like this one, so that when the markets get easy and the payouts are nice, right, instead of digging a hole, you are moving to you are either break even for whatever period, or you're slightly stacking up chips. And then when the market gets good, and by the way, this was a pretty good sign right here that we had today, that we're starting to get wider ranges in two-sided markets. I'm just looking for it to continue. We haven't seen that yet. It'll tend to continue for a month after it starts, a month to 2 months. Once we start getting two-sided markets, we haven't had this element in the market for quite a while. Hopefully we get this element. It'll be fantastic. It'll provide good trading opportunities. So anyways, my name is Simon. I'm looking forward to good things coming down the road. Take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself is all I can say as a professional trader. Be nice to yourself. If you're having a hard time gaining consistency with real money, go to paper. Build your track record as a paper trader, and then when you go back to real money, you'll at least have a solid baseline. At least with paper trading, everyone can usually follow the rules. There's no emotional issues that get in the way of trading consistently, right? And then when you go back to real money, you can at least look and go, hey, this is what's actually changed between when I was trading paper and when I'm trading real money. Also, if you're trading paper, a lot of people do this. One last hint. If you trade 2 contracts in real life, trade 2 contracts in paper. If you trade 10 in real life, trade 10 in paper. Get a real idea of what you're actually going to achieve and treat it as if it's real money. If you're going to trade with 1-point stops with real money, trade with 1-point stops with paper. If you can't get profitable on paper, you can't get profitable in real money. And one more thing on paper. Most paper systems will fill you on the bid if it ticks on the bid. The way to fix that, to make sure you're sure you'll get hit, is move your trade 1 tick lower than where you want to get filled. That way, if it fills you on the bid, you know that that whatever your fill price was asked, or vice versa if you're trying to sell or short. Okay, so anyways, I hope that made sense. I'm going to bed, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk to you all tomorrow morning.